I'm so excited to be here. Hello. I just need one thing. I need my stick for my PowerPoint. It's over by the technical department. So I can get started anyway. Are you okay? How are you doing? Are you hungry? Yeah. Me too. So my title is God and Sex, as you know. And I think it's a very brave title to speak on. Why would it be brave? Well, my mother's in the audience. And when I get home, she's going to tell me everything that didn't work. Because that's what mums do. So this talk today, being able to be here with Reverend Michael and Agape, thank you for coming. And Muzi, thank you for inviting me to speak. This is a climax for me. Okay. It's the climax of many years of study and research. Some of that time I've been on my knees to God. And some of that time I've been on my knees, but not to God. My mum's embarrassed. Okay. I would like to start my PowerPoint. Can I get the stick for the... Yeah, thank you. Oh, is that mine? Oh, but it needs to be connected with my stick. They have it in the back. Oh, I've got it. Okay, got it. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll do what I was going to do later, once my PowerPoint was in place. So do you think that I look really holy in my ministerial robes? Do you think I look like holier than thou? That was deliberate. Because not all ministers are holy. They actually are not asexual. So I thought I'd prove that to you. Okay, I'll sit down now. I want to do my talk for you. Oh, okay. All right, so that didn't work. I should be seeing my notes in front of me. No, not possible. Okay, all right, I'll make it up. I have a belief that PowerPoints don't work for me, so. Every time I do a PowerPoint, something goes wacky with the stick or the whatever. Anyway, so I'm now making it up, trying to remember my notes. It's my notes I want to see, but I'll remember. Don't worry. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so change. It's not working. Okay, I'll just keep going because who knows when it's going to change. Can you let me know when it changes so that, because I can't see from... Oh, okay, good. Okay. So, repetition, but it's a climax for me. Next one. So this is my intention, to get you out of bondage regarding sex. Bondage? Some of you know what I'm talking about, some of you don't. Okay. The guys at the back know about bondage. You're the naughty children in the classroom, aren't you? Yeah, I know. I want to make you feel more alive, but without a live show. And I want to heal the divide between sexuality and spirituality, between God and flesh, and between human and divine. We've been divided. We've lived in a consciousness of division, the war of the spirit and the flesh. I'm here to integrate that. Next. Change. So I wanted to pay tribute to Nirvana Gale. He was my teacher at Agape when I was studying there with Reverend Michael, and he was the first person to ever teach on God and sex. He was really a way shower, really a forerunner. And today is the anniversary of his death. He died on this day last year, so I just wanted to honor him before moving forward. So, the noble truth number 1, God is sexual energy. There's only one life, there's only one energy. It has to include sex. It has to. You can't have God, the one life, and then sex over here. It's not true. It's never going to work. So God is sexual energy. Noble truth number 2. Change, please. Next, please. Next. Adam and Eve and sex were not the cause of original sin. I'm going to explain more about that later. Mary Magdalene was not a hooker. Next one, please. Mary, mother of Jesus, was not a virgin. Number 5. Gays, lesbians, and all sexual orientations are all equally as divine as heterosexuals. Not all ministers are asexual, but I just proved that to you, so don't assume you know what's going on under the robe. All right. Creative energy has no gender. It's not male and it's not female. Please, next one. But in our history, a male god created life. Now, this is the famous picture by Michelangelo. You see, what happened? Originally, there was a female goddess that gave birth to life. Obviously, right? Men, you came from our vaginas. Sorry, we didn't come from your parts. So the priestesses of old, when they heard the men start to tell these stories about, oh, we're jealous, we can't bear it that a woman gives life. We can't bear it that a woman bleeds every month and she doesn't die. She must be magic. We can't bear it that all children know who their mothers are, and only the mothers are worshipped as ancestors. We can't bear it. We don't have that power. We want that power, so we'll make it up that we can give life. And the priestesses thought, that's so stupid. No one will ever believe that. Next. And so, woman was taken out of man's rib. This was the story that we were told. And we all believed it because it was in the Bible. Don't dare refute the Bible. Next, please. I love this. God in the act of creation, and God separated the light from the dark. That's a more female-oriented kind of look. Okay, next one, please. So this is the Divine Mother, birthing creation. And Mary, mother of Jesus, was a watered-down version of Divine Mother. Why? Because she was without sexuality. Divine Mother was fecund and fertile, and she was rich with life-giving hormones and energy. And then we have Mary, who's a virgin. It doesn't really represent the Divine Mother at all. Next, please. Oh, so we've got some pre-Christian. This guy's really ahead of his time. He's ahead of me. Some pre-Christian mother goddesses. Women who have struggled with diets, feel good about yourself. These women are considered to be so beautiful in their era. Unfortunately, today, women had to look like boys to be sexy, but in that time, a woman with big bust and big hips and a big bum and a big tummy was sexy as hell because she was a life-giving creative force. The next slide. So here we have the pre-Christian fertility goddesses, Astarte with many breasts symbolizing her nurturing nature. And then we've got Ishtar. Now, Ishtar's interesting. She's the goddess of love, beauty, sex, and desire, but also war and combat. Now that's interesting to me because our male god is supposed to be a god of love, but meanwhile he supports his team to beat up on the team's enemies. So it's also god of war, right? Love and war together, but originally that was Ishtar. Next one, please. And here we have the Minoan snake goddess. Now, women, or goddesses, priestesses, used snakes as their symbol and as their familiars. And why? Because the goddess gives life, but she also accepts life back into her earth. So when the time comes for death, the body goes back into the earth. So the goddess is not just the giver of life, she's the receiver of death as well. And the snake is the symbol of reincarnation. So the snake keeps shedding its skins, and it never dies. So you see what happened and how the snake, which was considered to be a symbol of the goddess, was abused. Next slide, please. The Garden of Eden. Suddenly the snake's evil, and Eve, who was a representative of the goddess, has become a wicked woman who tempted Adam. Sorry, can you go back to that slide, the last one? Just go back. I just want to point out that Adam seems to be saying, "Not tonight, Eve, I've got a headache." Next one, please. Okay, someone else mentioned the Apple agreement. Eve, stop. Have you read the user agreement? No one ever reads that stuff. Next one, please. So Eve tries to keep paradise tidy. Adam, will you please pick up your clothes? They're trying to hide their sexual shame, and it was futile. Eve says, "Look, it was a mistake, but it's not like the whole world has to know." And this is your punishment. So God, can you just leave that slide a minute? So when Eve tempted Adam, and he ate of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, God punished Adam and Eve throughout the generations. So they did bad stuff. One bite of the apple, and suddenly all generations after them are punished. So this is your punishment for sex. You get to have teenagers. Next one. Big Brother is always watching you. Have any of you ever felt guilty about having sex? Yeah, because we've been trained that it's something simple. So this couple is saying, "Baby, we've been dating a while, and I think I want to have sex." And she says, I want to as well. It's just," and she says, "God is watching us." And then there's a bush, and God's behind the bush. And God says, "No, I'm not." God is a peeping Tom. God's watching you in your bedroom. So where do we get the notion of sin from? The creator of original sin was Augustine. Has anyone ever heard of Augustine? St. Augustine. You probably know about Alcoholics Anonymous. So there are many 12-step fellowships, and the 12-step fellowship for sex and love addicts is called the Augustine Fellowship. Interesting. Why? Because Augustine was horny, and he couldn't bear it. He couldn't bear that he couldn't have control over his erection. So he believed that the best way to control his sexuality was to be completely celibate. He was a 5th century theologian in North Africa. He had a wife or a girlfriend or a concubine, and he had a child with this person. But after his conversion experience, he tried to make sure that no one was ever going to enjoy sex ever again, and he did a pretty good job of that. Please carry on. So what did he believe? That sex is sinful. Is it? Everyone's born in sin. Now this is horrible. This is treacherous. Why are we born in sin? Okay, so Adam and Eve gave in to temptation. They were weak. They were disobedient. And we're born in sin because every time any one of us is born, it's a direct result of a sexual interaction between our mum and our dad. So we have those insidious sexual cells in our bodies, and therefore we are permanently sinful. And then Eve, as the temptress, is considered by St. Augustine to be the wicked one, and all women are therefore wicked. So this was St. Augustine's solution. You become celibate and remain celibate, even in marriage, or you get married. So you can see what happens when you get married just to have sex or because you think you have to. So the thing is, Augustine said, be celibate, that's best. Because if you're celibate, then you're not thinking about sex, you're not thinking about lust. Oh, he's going so fast. Whew. I know you want me to move on because I'm probably running out of time. Is that right? 2 minutes. Oh, I can't do it in 2 minutes. 2 minutes. I've got 2 minutes, but you think I can do it in 2 minutes? No. Well, maybe I can, but you can't. Okay. So Augustine's solution is that we have to baptize babies immediately after they're born, because if they go to hell, if there's a high infant mortality rate, as there was once, a baby dying without being baptized, for sure it's going to go to hell. The other thing is that we're going to go to hell anyway because we're born of sex, so we're born of original sin. So how do we avoid going to hell? Well, we pray to Jesus Christ for redemption. It hasn't worked for me. Okay, what is sin? To miss the mark? It's a Greek archery term, to miss the mark. It doesn't mean you're bad, wrong, or evil. You just miss the mark. And in the New Thought world, we'd call it a sense of separation from God. Next one, please. What's the third alternative? Self-pleasuring. Augustine didn't talk about that. Next one, please. The consequences of masturbation. According to history, you go blind, your hand drops off, or you grow hair on the palm of your hand. This all means you're going to go to hell. Everything in moderation. Next one, please. How do you know that God wants you to masturbate? I'll show you. Look at where your hand is in relationship to your genitals. You weren't created like this. That's your clue. You've been divinely designed to self-pleasure. Go for it with my blessing. Next one, please. Oh, next one. Now we get to Mary Magdalene. She was a sex priestess. Next one. I'll whip through it really quickly, so. Next one. She probably trained in the temples of Isis. Isis was the Egyptian mother goddess, and she trained as a sex priestess. Please keep going. Next one. So a sex priestess was not a common hooker. A sex priestess was a woman who was trained in the art of lovemaking and trained to be able to, in her sexual intercourse with a man, raise his level of vibration so that he became more spiritually connected and closer to God. Because men understood that women were connected to God. Can I have an amen? Oh, can I have an all woman? All right, so Jesus cast 7 devils out of Mary Magdalene. Why? Because the ruling patriarchy said that she was a hooker. And in those days, they understood that a hooker meant she was subject to her evil, sensual nature. It had nothing to do with exploitation of female bodies. So, wait a minute. Can you slow down with the slides? So a story I heard is that after Jesus cast out 7 devils, what he did was he cleansed Mary Magdalene's 7 chakras. But she, being his equal, then turned around and cleansed his 7 chakras. But we don't read about that in the Bible. So they had an equal relationship, a spiritual equal relationship. Okay, I think I'm going to just zap on, if you don't mind, because I haven't got much time, I'm going to zap on to the virgin bit. Can you zap on, please? Can you do a few more slides? And I'll tell you when to stop. I think Mary Magdalene and Jesus were married. Dan Brown did a good job of that in the Da Vinci Code. He made that popular. Next one, please. Next one, please. Okay, Mary, was she a virgin? Next one. Next one. Oh, the title is Abstinence. It's 99.999% effective. Next one, please. So Mary narrowly avoids a stoning. The man accuses her. You were with another man, Mary, and you're pregnant from another man. The penalty is stoning. And Mary says, no, it wasn't a man. It was an angel. And then the guy says, oh, well, that's all right then. He drops the stone. Next one, please. Joseph questions God. So they were betrothed shortly afterwards. Joseph learned something that puzzled him greatly. If God could create Adam, why didn't he just create his own son instead of knocking up my friggin' wife? Next one, please. Mary exploits Joseph's gullibility. Oh my gosh, I'm pregnant. What will I tell Joseph? I know, I'll tell him God did it. He believes that stuff. Next one, please. Joseph feels threatened. It doesn't mean anything, honey. God is something everyone cries when they're in bed. Next one, please. Joseph feels inferior. Poor Joseph. God was a hard act to follow. Next one, please. Okay, I'm going to zap on, but keep going, please. More slides, quickly. More slides. I don't have time to go through it all with you. Okay, we'll stop there. Oh, I'm a virgin. Oh, yeah, this is a good place to stop. So, I'm a virgin. You don't believe me, do you? No, I know you don't. This is a definition I really like. I'm a virgin. A woman who is a virgin, one in herself, does what she does, not because of any desire to please, not to be liked or to be approved, even by herself, not because of any desire to gain power over another, to catch his interest or love, but because what she does is true. Beautiful, huh? Beautiful. So welcome to my Virgin Club, all you women who are willing to do true things. Next one, please. This is my last warning to you. Don't die a virgin. Terrorists are up there waiting for you. Thank you very much. Thank you.